Hey, welcome. It's Domain Dave with CheapWineFinder.com for a long, long time. And what we do is we do value-priced wine reviews. We've been doing it for a long time. But we started because there are a lot of people doing wine reviews, but for expensive wines and the wines that everybody drinks, there was very few wine reviews. And they were all kind of, well, it's good if you like that sort of thing kind of reviews, which was nonsense. I didn't even drink it. So we started drinking it and we started liking it and we never stopped. And today we've got a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, but a bit different than the usual, value-priced ones, which I like a lot and they're really good. But this one is the Loveblock Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc 2023. Now this Loveblock is a winery from Kim Crawford and Erica Crawford. Erica is in the vineyard. She's a viticulturist, and Kim Crawford is the winemaker. And as you know, or you should if you're listening about value-priced wines, Kim Crawford is a large New Zealand wine brand that Kim Crawford sold in 2003. It's still going strong. Seemed to not need it. And one funny thing about that one, and I don't know how funny it is, but when I read that it was a virtual winery, which meant they purchased grapes from vineyards and that they rented space in an existing winery to make their wines, and they made such a big hit that they bought Loveblock. And I think it was a sheep pasture, and when they started doing it, I think it was 2006, and now it's a state vineyards, and they have a state-of-the-art winery. They're sustainably farmed and organic. My bottle did not say organic, but the website does. So I'm guessing that the certification came after the labels were printed up. That happens. And this is vegan friendly too. So all the kind of the good things you want about a wine are in here. Shouldn't all wine be vegan friendly? Yeah, it should, but it isn't, because the fining process. The fining process is when the very end, before they bottle the wine, they get the dead yeast out of the tanks from the fermentation process, and skin that made it through the presses and the filters, grape skins. And to get it all out, they normally used egg whites, which is not vegan. I'm gonna take a sip. But they can do it with minerals. I don't know which minerals are equivalent to egg whites, but I wasn't that good in science class. But there you go. So now Kim Crawford's got kind of a fancy estate, which they weren't before, but they still make really good wines. And it's a husband and wife team where the wife's in the vineyard making sure the grapes are good, and the husband's out in the winery making sure the wine is good. I think that's a good team, if you ask me. So how's the wine? I got this wine for $15. I think it's sometimes closer to 20, but I think you're getting on sale, especially now that wines and spirits are off by sometimes up to 14% what they have been. They say young people are not drinking wine and beer and spirits. I don't know what they're doing because they don't seem to be all that sober, but they're not drinking this. I think it's like they can't drink beer and be good at video games or something. I'm not sure what it is, but that's beside the point. I'm going to take another sip. I typically tell you when I'm doing one of these Sauvignon Blanc New Zealand, even other places, it's farm to market. You grab the grapes, you ferment them, you add some yeast, certain yeast for different flavors to bring up that, and then a couple of months, and then you got a wine after you age it for a little bit. This one is all small batch from their fancy vineyard. It is fermented in small batch in concrete eggs. Concrete is a really good a component for wine because what's inside is kind of immune to temperature changes and humidity. And when you're making wine, controlling that's really important. And a concrete egg gives you kind of like a good purchase with the wine in there. They also use old French oak barrels. They use amphora, like in the Greek vessels from the Tales of Hercules. They use that, and they use some stainless steel. So they're using multiple different containers for the wine, and every time you use a different container, it's going to taste different. It just is. I mean, it changes how the wine is. So it's kind of cool that they're using concrete eggs and amphora. And another thing they do that other people don't do with their Sauvignon Blanc, especially in the lower price range, is they did malolactic fermentation. Malolactic fermentation happens in red wine all the time. It happens in Chardonnay when they want it to. And now they're doing it in Sauvignon Blanc, which changes the tart grapes into rounded grapes. I'm going to take a sip. It's balanced. It is smooth. It is complex. It has great taste. It's got lemons and nectarines and apples and dried pineapples, coconut milk. Yeah, I mean, there's some really nice things. The acidity is seamless. It's really, this is a nice wine. I mean, you know, the inexpensive ones are like flavor bombs, which is a good thing to have flavor bomb of. There's some bombs you don't want in wine, but flavor is one you want. This isn't this. This is a fine wine. And it's, you know, under $20. I found it for 15. And it's got all the things you want about a wine. It's got organic. They use the yeast from the vineyard. It's always thought that the yeast that's in the air, and virtually every vineyard has yeast floating in the air, and a spontaneous fermentation rather than commercial yeast. And I don't think in value price wines that commercial yeast is a bad thing, because what they're doing is that different yeast will bring out different flavors in the wine. And when you're trying to get the most out of a value wine where you don't have the ability or the budget to do a lot of things, you know, using yeast to cut corners, not cut corners, but to get what you want out of it is a good thing. But here they're using what is in the vineyard. And it's always thought that the yeast that actually floats around in the air in the vineyard is the right yeast for that wine. And that's what they think. It's what it should be. Take a sip here. This is not your typical Sauvignon Blanc, and it's not a $40 wine. It's just, I found it for 15. It should be on sale, especially with the spring and summer coming up. Check it out. It's worth checking out. I love Sauvignon Blanc. I love it from everywhere. I love it from France. I love it from New Zealand. I love it from the West Coast. I'm into Sauvignon Blanc. And the Loveblock Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc 2023 from Kim and Erica Crawford. It's a pretty good wine. So adios, keep it cheap. And I'll be talking to everybody in a couple of days. I've got a California Zinfandel that was in bourbon barrels. We'll see how that goes. Adios, keep it cheap. Bye-bye.